Thank you all for coming out tonight. It's good to see so many of our members participating. This is our TCC History Night. It's the first one that we've had, and I think you'll have a wonderful time. All of you know the gentleman next to me, Chris Myrvold. Chris has spent hours and hours and days putting this presentation together for you, both audio, visual, and with some special guest speakers on top of that. So I think you'll have a great time. I know I'm looking forward to it. History is one of Chris's passions, so this was a labor of love, and I think you'll see it in his work. Before I start, I just want to recognize one person who's not on the speaker agenda tonight, and that's Dan Hickson, who's back there in the back. Dan, wave your hand. Dan is a very important part of our club. He's done a lot of work here at the club, and he's really important for us in the standpoint of our architecture. With that, I'm going to welcome Chris. There you go, Dan. With that, I'm going to welcome Chris and turn the agenda over to him.
Thank you, Bob. All right, so I'm going to just do a quick overview of the event. So I put a lot of work in resourcing material and doing lots of writing, photos, and all sorts of content. And especially for today's event, I have those of you familiar with Golf Genius, GGID, TCC History, and just log on to that and you'll find all sorts of stuff. So that's a little gift for everybody here, and we'll eventually let the rest of the membership know, but it's definitely a lot of stuff in there. So yeah. And then so what we're going to do is we have a few videos set up. Harbor does our videos, and they're super talented what they do, and be able to create some really cool video content for us. So, and then we have, of course, a lot of great speakers, and we got Cam Mazzari, Mike Clens, John Foltz, and Roscoe Nelson. So they're going to be up speaking today. We're going to do a little bit of an intermission in between. Go to the bathroom, have a drink, just kind of walk around a little bit, and then we'll get to the second half. And then once we're done, we're going to have a little bit of desserts for everybody, some coffee, and myself, anybody else who want to talk to afterwards, if you have questions, or just want to say thank you. I love having thank yous. So, okay. So on to what we are attempting to do, which is, when I got here, I kind of asked myself, Tualatin Country Club, what does that mean? So I want all of you not to meditate, but just kind of think about what does Tualatin Country Club represent to you? What do you think about the name Tualatin? And some of you have been members for a long time, some just a short while. So for me, I'm like literal. I go, what does Tualatin actually literally mean in the language of Tualatin, which is the Calapuyan tribe? And so what it means is we don't know. The last person that spoke is 100, he was at early 1900s, passed away. So we have no idea, but there's a lot of speculation. Slow, lazy river, forked river, being the people, flatland. So it's a lot of different people, different opinions on it. I would just say on my research that the name Tualatin really defines the area that you're living in and the features, the geological features that you are next to. So how we got from Tualatin, emphasis on Tufa, to Tualatin is early fur traders. They had Chinook jargon language that they were able to communicate, and so they had maps, and the early maps define the area that we're in as Tualatin or Tualati, a lot of different versions, until about 1913 when the people in this community needed a bar. And so they said, well, the only way to get a bar is if we have a town. So they have to name a town, and they did Tualatin, it's the river. So, in summary, I just wanted to kind of get everybody's mind to what Tualatin means from just a kind of broad perspective. For me, it just means a connection of a tribe and the land. So that's my interpretation. Okay, so now we're going to do a little video presentation. And here we go.
In the spring of 1912, the inception of Tualatin Country Club was not merely the establishment of a new golf course, but the manifestation of a pioneering vision for social and sporting excellence in the Pacific Northwest. Conceived by visionaries including Rabbi Jonah Wise, Governor Julius Meyer, and Roscoe Nelson III's grandfather. Roscoe Nelson and Tualatin are synonymous, as the Nelson name is the only one that has been connected to the club continually since its inception, marking 3 generations of steadfast dedication and involvement. This collective foresight, significantly influenced by experiences from a Jewish club in Richmond, Virginia, aimed to create not just a premier private club, but a sanctuary for community, inclusivity, and fellowship. The club, which stands as the oldest Jewish country club west of the Mississippi and a beacon of heritage and community west of the Rockies, was founded on a journey to scout land that offered ideal natural contours for a challenging golf course, while embracing Oregon's breathtaking landscape. The selection of renowned architects for both the course and the rustic yet elegant clubhouse underscored a commitment to quality, sustainability, and the creation of a haven for golfers and a gathering place for the community. Overcoming exclusionary societal norms of the time, Tualatin set a precedent by offering memberships to Jewish residents of Portland, building its spirit on openness, equality, and a belief in a space where everyone, irrespective of background, could unite over their love for the game. This foundational spirit of inclusivity, along with the club's early spirit of innovation and the continuous legacy of the Nelson family, have defined Tualatin's character and legacy, setting a high standard for private clubs in the region and enduring for generations.
Pretty awesome, huh? Yes, you got some claps for sure. So we're going to go a little bit further to the history of the geology of Tualatin Country Club. So, Scott Burns, golfer, friend of David Weiner, who's here. He is a PSU professor, PhD, and he is the man when it comes to understanding the Ice Age floods, and specifically Tualatin. And there's actually a thing called Tualatin Ice Age Foundation. And there's an Ice Age Floods National Geological Trail that is in the works. And anybody that enjoys history and geology, it's a wonderful thing to get a chance to look through. Some pretty amazing stuff. So I'm just going to give you a couple little key things within what I sourced. So imagine 500 square miles of water being dumped in 2 days. That's what came down Missoula. It's hard to understand that, but let's think about the energy equivalency. Take the largest nuclear bomb that's ever been detonated and times that by 90. And that's the amount of water that was being disseminated. So it's just unbelievable. So as you can see here, 400 feet high is where the water came into port. Made a huge impact into our area. So those of you that lived in this area, you have seen, maybe have heard, there used to be a gravel pit over by Bridgeport Mall. I used to fish there when I was a little boy. That's all dumped from the Missoula floods, the rocks. And then a little further downstream, as the water carves through Lake Oswego, it deposited lovely gold. It's like a golf course designer's dream, sand. So think about what sand is for golf. Imagine abandoned dunes, but on all clay surface. that would not be much fun. So sand is, it's awesome. So that's what we get when a Missoula flood decides to dump a bunch of water and then it recedes. So I'm going to show you some pictures here. So here we go. There's the water going right through. You can see where we're going. That's a big chunk of water going right through Lake Oswego. And here we go. You can see a little closer where we're at. And go a little further. You can kind of see where the direction of the water goes. There's our train tracks. Get an idea of where we're at. And then the water comes in, comes back out. So most of the water starting to go up to Oregon City. So that's where you see the Willamette Falls. Second largest falls behind Niagara. And then there we are. So when the water recedes, it creates a kind of a vertical drop. So when you're up on 9 T-box and you look down, that is that water that receded that created that channel there. And then as the water recedes, it creates ripples. So of course as golfers, we don't like all flat. We want to see a little bit of challenge on the golf course, a little uneven lies, because the icing game isn't hard enough. So anyways, and then the other nice thing about sand is trees. So Doug firs love sand because they can get their roots way down deep. And I think about the community mindset of this club and how it goes deep and then it stands tall and it stays for a very long time. So a lot of these trees were here long before any settlers came, hundreds of years. So it kind of defines this golf course. The sand, the trees, the rolling landscape, the beautiful river. There's just nothing like it. The name Tualatin is unique. There's not another Tualatin in the world. We're not, Riverside, no offense, or Royal Oaks. There's a lot of names that have been passed around to different golf courses. Tualatin is unique. And this is an example of why it's so unique. 90 times powerful than the biggest nuclear bomb. That's what caused all this. So, now we're going to start learning a little bit about the tribes that were here. Let me get this to work. Not working.